2023, and it's still kind of early. I think in my own heart. You get through Christmas, and then we all kind of take a little bit of a break, and New Year's still not really starting up yet. But once school gets going again, and I'm kind of back at the chancery, and we start projects getting going, and already we have to start thinking a little bit about Lent. We're having a meeting tomorrow to start doing some planning for it, and it's all part of the. Well, it's a new year. It's going to be quick. Easter's not as early as it possibly could be, but it's pretty early this year. So that means, of course, yes, Wednesday's a bit earlier, and it all just kind of moves up a little bit. So that's what's going on. So we're already talking about that. But before I get too far into that, and again, we're just beginning, right? We're just beginning. Um, I want to talk about just thank you. That's what I want to do. I've had a chance to really to speak to everybody. I'm preaching this weekend. I preached at Christmas, and then this is my first time really preaching since then. But one of the points that just the collections that came in were very, very generous this year. I just had part of it's on my mind because we just had our finance meeting with the parish. But and some of it's because it's over 2 different years. So it's 2022 at Christmas, and then New Year's was into 2021. But the collections, I mean, they're on my head because they're easy to remember. Christmas that weekend, we took in just about $22,000, which is really good. And then the next weekend was New Year's, and that came in about 11,000. And just this past weekend again was I think it was 13. So just a little course, and then we have something called Pad, which is something that's online. Pad is like we automatic payments. So we're over $50,000 in just a little over 3 weeks, which is a nice way to finish off the last year and a great way to start this year. And that's just very, very generous. So I just wanted to thank you as parishioners and as a parish. I just find that kind of a bit of a vote of confidence that you like what we're doing and where we're going. So it's all good news. So Jeff from Vernon, BC. So Jeff, I think I don't know if it's floods or fires or drought, but you guys have seemed to have a tough couple of years, but hopefully it's doing a little better now. I had some crazy snowstorms there too, just around Christmas. And Rebecca, I think, chiming in from down in Florida. I won't be more specific than that, but it's all good. Snow, yeah, Jeff, lots of snow. I think you guys have been getting crazy snow. I know some people that were supposed to go home for Christmas and just couldn't because just the weather in Vancouver was just so crazy there. So it's kind of weird, but that's the way it is. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of nice. Thank you, Rebecca. I don't know if that's odd for the snow or odd that we recognized you, but both. We'll take either one. I hope you're feeling better too. I know Rebecca wasn't feeling that great when she went back to Florida, so I hope you're feeling better now. So yeah, so again, part of Rebecca reminded me of it was the Christmas decorations came down. It was baptism of the Lord on Monday. It all came pretty smooth. It's all kind of more or less put away, so at least for another year. And there's always that kind of again that bit of starkness, I think, because it's so elaborate with the poinsettias and the crash and it's the trees and the lights, and it's beautiful, and that's our Christmas. But now it's simpler, right? And we're back to ordinary time, and green's the typical color, and we'll have about 4 or 5 weeks of that, and then we'll start into Advent, into Lent. So that's where it's going. But again, just to emphasize or draw a line back underneath that, the generosity to the parish, which has been very, very kind, and then just to personally, like all of the priests were kind of spoiled a little bit too, which is kind of nice as well. So again, I just get blown away by how kind people can be, and the cards. We're putting away my cards today. Actually, I think my office gets plastered with them, and the rectory is kind of the same. And just putting those away now and saying, okay, it's time to move on. But it's all there. So all good stuff. Feeling better. Yeah, that's good. Record's feeling better. Do you still need a bin? No, we don't need any bins. I think we're okay. We did a little reallocation. I found more extension cords than I knew we had, so I put those all away and then moved a few around. So no, I think it's we were talking about this big wreath that we had, or garland, I think it is, and it's quite long. Actually, runs the entire width of the church and then some, but it all fit. So it's all in one of the old bins. So we're good. We're good to go. So things are tucked away. We haven't quite tucked everything away because maybe a few more things yet to come. But there it is. So what are we doing from here? Well, I would ask your prayers. What's happening next week, so coming up here pretty soon, is the Companions of the Cross. Every year, the Executive Council goes to someplace. We've gone to different, sometimes down to Houston. I think think we went to Detroit once. Last year we went to a cottage. The parishioners were very kind to loan us a cottage for a week. But we're going to go up to our farm this year, and it's in Cumbermere. And this is only about the second time we've all been together. It's crazy. I mean, we meet all the time, but it's often online like this. And this is our year planning and even beyond. And I'm kind of happy to say this because there's no big crisis that we have to deal with. There's no over the top kind of issues that then thankfully that's good news, right? I'm not complaining about that. So we're going to start putting our heads up a bit and saying, okay, where do we want to be in 5 years? Where do we want to be in 10 years? And it's fairly intense. Like we work at this. Like it's not a working vacation. It's work, and really trying to get to where do we need to be as companions. We've been doing this for about 30 years now. We've had moderate success, I think, in parish ministry. Could we be doing something more? Could be doing something different? Now, again, I'm not putting on any secrets here. This is like any community would be asking similar questions. Any diocese starts asking some similar questions. But it's just a lot. So I'd ask your prayers for this coming week. Again, as I say, it's not like we're at a turning point or a crisis. Quite the opposite. We're kind of in a luxury position where we can actually sit back and say, okay, we got 3 guys getting ordained this year. I think there's a year, and then we have at least 4 more getting ordained. So that's potentially 7 new priests. Okay, where do you put them? Like, because even when they're ordained, it doesn't mean they're finished. I mean, most of their formation's done, but then kind of like Father Joshua, it's a year or two to integrate that into who you are as a person and your ministry styles and all these kinds of things. So what's the best thing to do that? Now we've kind of invested in divine renovation or having established parishes that we run guys through. It's all part of the mentoring system, but making sure we do that better. What's kind of strange, we noticed this a few years ago, getting into some companion stuff here, but it's like we spend a lot of time and money in formation with guys in the seminary, like training to be priests. We have 3 or 4 guys in full-time positions looking after them. We pay quite a bit of money to send them to school in the States. We bought a property down in Detroit to make that all work. All good stuff. Once they're ordained, really Father Roger is the only person full-time looking after 38 priests. Now, again, there's a staff and we help them a little bit as best we can, but maybe it's something we need to look at. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's a slogan I know that Catholic Christian Outreach is used to when they're giving one of the talks here last semester. No leader left alone. And I think it's something we could do better at. So these are, again, I throw these out here not as deep problems, that are in the world, but just as thoughts, going through my own head. Like, if we have what we have, which is a bit of a luxury, that we're not just running pillar to post. We have, priests. We have an established foundation. I think we have a methodology that's been successful, if not absolutely stellar. But I think we've got a proven track record. What next? What could we do better? What could we dream bigger? There's a line I heard years ago that you sort of dream big, start small, act now. So if you want to have a renewal, if you want to have a big influence, you got to dream big. You got to think, a bit outside the box. You start where you are, and you got to get it engaged. Actually make it happen. And this is part of the work we're trying to do as a community and part of what we're trying to do at the diocese. So, it's interesting how that's all playing out. So I don't know. I hope that made sense. Once this is out there and you can go back and listen to it again and maybe it'll make sense a second time. I'm not even sure it makes sense in my own head. But these are the things that I'm pondering, to invest that much time in these, 4 days of meetings. It's serious because it's important. And how we decide these things, again, they're not going to be things that are going to have an immediate effect, but over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, they could have some effect, and that could lead to some big things down the road. So we'll see. So maybe when I come back, I'll say I won't be on next week. I'll miss next week, but maybe the week after I'll have more to report to you. I can't tell you all the stuff we talked about. That's a little bit of internal form, but at least I can talk to you about anything like a breakthrough or anything major. So there it is. So unless someone has a question or something that I can answer, you can type it into the chat box right now. But barring that, I think we're going to call it a night, and I might go for a little walk here. It's cold here. For those of us in the extended family, it's down to about -10, -12 tonight, so it's getting a little bit colder. Alain, hey Father, happy to hear from you. Thank you, Alain. It's good to do. I'm happy. I think Alain has bits of some stories from Christmas Eve. He's out with the Good Sisters helping people on the streets, so it's good news. That's nice stuff. I think we're starting to do a bit more of that as a parish, and I think there's even more outreach that we could be doing. So it's good news. I'd like to see at least 3 dozen Christmas trees for next. 3 dozen. Yeah, great. More Christmas trees. That's I think it is part of Rebecca. Just to clarify that, if you look at the thing, this is an ongoing little question. He likes Christmas trees. He likes to decorate. So and it was beautiful. It was beautiful this year for Christmas. So we'll see. I don't know if 3 dozen. Maybe we'll start with 1 dozen. I think that's coming in actually. So all good. I think there's some new Christmas or some window decorations. I understand. So my good friends, I'm going to say a little prayer with you. I mean, wherever you are and however you hear this, in whatever context you find it. May the good Lord indeed watch over you this coming year in 2023. May the saints and angels intercede for you, and our Blessed Mother wrap you in the mantle of her peace. And may Almighty God bless you and keep you now, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So God bless you all. Take care. And I say we won't be on next week, but I'll be back the week after and give a little report from the farm. See how